Hi guys, Stasia here, your natural health, master mind, body and anxiety expert. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit more about anxiety. So normally anxiety is something that we all experience from time to time. Regular people would experience anxiety from time to time in different situations. The way anxiety is supposed to work is that when there's a clear and present danger in the now, it sort of jumpstarts your body with adrenaline to do something about it. Like, for example, a lion trying to chase you down. Your adrenaline's going to kick in, your anxiety's going to kick in. It's like, I'll have to run away. And you run away. So you've got that excess adrenaline happening. You've got that anxiety there to get you away from danger. That's the whole point of it, working in a normal way. And feeling anxiety and nervousness is generally a normal thing at important things like a job interview or taking exams or something like that. Now, those kind of normal anxiety feelings that regular people experience in those kind of situations, those kind of emotions are easier to control, and then they dissipate soon after the event or after the things have happened. Now, when that type of anxiety keeps persisting throughout life with any event or all events, or it's something that just really cannot be controlled by someone, then that's when it becomes an anxiety problem, because it's impacting your life. It's impacting your life on a daily basis. So common physical signs of anxiety are nervous stomach, sweaty hands, pounding heart. But on top of that, you've also got, they might be accompanied by lots of headaches, muscle tension and pain, teeth grinding, jaw pain or facial pain, which is due to teeth grinding, shortness of breath, chest pain, dizziness, sleep problems like insomnia, nighttime wakefulness and others, general weakness, fatigue, frequent urination, decreased interest in the busy bedroom time, loss of appetite, numbness or tingling in your fingers, hands and feet. What exactly is anxiety? Basically, what it comes down to is fear. It's that emotion. It's just fear. That's what it comes down to. It's fear of a future event, fear of something that's going to happen that hasn't happened yet, and then that continued worry over and over and over again of, what's going to happen then, all of that stuff. That's really all anxiety is fear of the future. So anxiety is a future-oriented emotion. So this fear of the future, this anxiety, is basically your unconscious mind warning you that you're focusing on the things that you don't want to happen in the future. So basically you're thinking in your head the absolute worst case scenarios, every possible worst case scenario that could possibly happen in the future. So what are the triggers of anxiety that can cause us to have anxiety? The triggers can be from specific events, memories, situations, stress, medications, health issues, caffeine, which I've talked about in the past. So it might be crappy events that's happening on the news. It might be being around certain people who are assholes, toxic people. Another trigger for anxiety can be skipping meals. So again, you've got that wave of blood sugar dip, which is not good because that can trigger a jittery feeling, or your hands get all jittery and stuff, and that's not really healthy either. It can also be a conflict. So it can be a conflict with someone in real life. It can be a conflict with yourself, an internal conflict. So find the triggers, minimize them. There could also be no known trigger. For example, anxiety itself can become a habit. If we continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, it can easily become a habit where we just mindlessly do it over and over and over again. So it can be an unhealthy habit like not exercising. Although in saying that, you can also have healthy habits like exercising, eating healthy, that kind of thing. You can create new habits. New habits do take time. Now let's get back to the fact that anxiety is fear of the future. Why are you in the future? Why aren't you in the present moment? what we are seeing and feeling right now, being in the present moment. Now, the fact that anxiety is created within yourself from fear of the future, from thinking the worst possible outcome that happens in the future from some event, you have the power to change that simply by imagining the event to be positive, to be finished, to turn out the way that you want it to happen. So when you intentionally think of a future event in a positive way, where's the anxiety? It's gone. One thing that I really want you to do. So when you're feeling the anxiety, what are you thinking? What are you thinking when the anxiety happens? Instead of focusing on the anxiety feeling, what were you thinking just before it just came out of nowhere? What were those thoughts? Were they negative? Were they of the future? What were they? And if the anxiety happened because you were imagining a negative outcome to do with a future event, then imagine the future event instead as happening 100%. And I mean 100% here, all right? Fully 100% happening in a positive way. If for some chance some negative stuff does pop into your head, then just say to yourself, it's just your imagination, and then direct it back to the positive thing. If you repeat that over and over and over again inside your mind, visualizing that, then you should find that your anxiety levels tend to drop. Now, when it comes to the unconscious mind, hiding or burying your feelings, for example, and not wanting to acknowledge them, causes an inner conflict. So an inner emotional conflict is caused inside the unconscious. And this happens when someone consciously represses experiences, feelings, and impulses that are too threatening or disturbing to live with. And this happens because the unconscious mind actually controls the body. It controls all the parts of the body to help keep you alive, to keep you running, to keep you healthy. Now, getting back to being around the wrong type of people that causes your anxiety, or some sort of like situational things that cause anxiety. Now, it could be that avoidance is your thing. You want to avoid the person, and that's a good strategy for someone who's toxic. However, are you avoiding saying something to them, telling them something that will give you peace? But you're avoiding the whole thing to begin with because you just don't want that confrontation. Are you putting off paying a bill or avoiding something else, which will minimize your anxiety for a short amount of time, but it's not really fixing the problem, and it's going to cause much higher anxiety and much bigger problems later. So the earlier that you deal with something like that is better and will help to lower your anxiety. Now, other anxiety coping skills is things like exercise, going for a walk, going out in nature, that sort of thing. There's deep breathing exercises, or even just finishing the long list of tasks that need doing. Some people have unhealthy coping skills. For example, turning to food or alcohol or drugs, or binge watching shows for a long period of time to avoid responsibilities. So turning to food, alcohol, drugs helps to comfort, and some people use this as a comforting thing, which is not really good because it's not healthy and it's not really serving a purpose. If anything, it's going to actually increase the anxiety. Unhealthy foods do that by lowering one's nutrition and certain minerals that the body needs to actually create a chemical balance inside the brain to allow for natural occurrences of, for example, serotonin creation, which then stabilizes things like depression, anxiety, and other mental things. For those that have an anxiety disorder, that's when things are really, really, really bad. Like you might get into lots of arguments with people because of your anxiety, or you might be missing out on a lot of days of work because of your anxiety, or you might not want to go out because of the anxiety that you feel when you do go out in public. Or you might have trouble sleeping, you're just not getting the correct rest that you need because all those thoughts go round and round in your mind. And being in that negative headspace, it's causing a lot of pain deep down inside. The fact that you're missing out on life, you're missing out on all the potential and all the things that you can have in life. Happiness, for example, and no more anxiety, for example. Lots of really, really good positive opportunities. You might be wanting to find the love of your life. You might be wanting to get that promotion or get that really, really good job. You might be wanting to improve the relationships that you have with your family. You might be feeling caged in. You might see things that you really want to do in life, but you feel that your anxiety can't let you do them. These types of things can cause a loss of income. These types of things can cause unfulfilled potential. Having an anxiety disorder causes you to live in fear. And fear of nothing really, because it hasn't happened. This anxiety can make it harder for you to try new things, to experience the wonders of new things, and all those opportunities along with them. All of this just reduces the quality of life. Anxiety can affect your relationships. For example, everyone wants to get along really, really well with the people that they're with. However, anxiety disorders are really hard on relationships because they prevent you from trying new things. It limits you with what you want to be doing with your friends. It can stop you from meeting new people and making new friends. With social anxiety, for example, it might be too much for you to risk rejection, so you just don't even try. And those with social anxiety just stay at home all the time and hide away and become even more anxious. For those with an anxiety disorder called PTSD, the type of people might get really, really angry or aggressive or violent towards people around them that are close to them. This in itself can alienate you and can also cause a lot of legal issues as well. Having an anxiety disorder can lead to addiction. For example, I mentioned earlier about using things to soothe the anxiety so that you can forget about it, like alcohol or food or drugs. So around about a quarter of the people who have anxiety disorders, PTSD, OCD, those kinds of things, actually are addicted to substances. They have substance abuse issues. And people are really desperate to have some kind of relief from their anxiety. And doctors will prescribe some drugs and they can be highly addictive. And a lot of medications cause a lot of side effects. They also cause a lot of nutritional deficiencies, which can then drive anxiety even worse or lead to other problems down the track. If you're wanting to say bye-bye to your anxiety for good and then not have to rely on medications and those kinds of things, and you want to get rid of it in a natural and very, very fast, natural and healthy way, I can help with that. Just book in for a strategy call below. Like and subscribe to my channel, guys, because there's more and more info coming. Okay, have a fantastically wonderful day. Bye.